Right there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another round of OTLR. I am joined by Lanky. He's looking fresh. He's got someone sitting next to him. We are here for a round of of Monza here today. Round 7 in the calendar out of 12. It's going to be a very interesting one. Just before we got the stream started, actually, was just talking about how it could be wet, as Monza is one of those tracks where there is a high chance of it being wet. And if it does, it's going to put in for some really interesting racing, maybe mix up the order just a little bit. And actually, speaking of the drivers and where the order is, here are the drivers' standings. It's still currently led by Nobody Cares on 132 points. The two Red Bulls sit right below in second and third. They're going to have to do quite a lot of work today. I'm not in. Don't spoil it. I'm not in. Don't spoil it. I'm doing it. Speaking of the team standings, they are pretty close there. Aston Martin on 106.7. A bit down from Red Bull, but they can definitely bounce back. And before we go into the track, here is the track map. It is 5.7 kilometers with 11 turns. And if it is raining, it's definitely going to spice up quali for some of these drivers, as I know some of them have been practicing. And now for the actual race, let's see what. Oh my god! And it's raining. This is going to be interesting.
I called it.
Yeah. But is it going to be a direct condition, or is it going to be wet the entire way through? Who knows? We shall wait and see.
Oh, Monza in the wet.
Let's hope you can see it.
Beautiful.
Let's see. Can you guys see?
We're qualifying anyway.
No, they cannot see it. They can't even see it because I
no, your black screen. Yeah, I've just loaded up. Yeah.
Let me get this sorted. I accidentally deleted it before, so now I have to do it again.
It says looking for game to capture. Yeah, come on,
there
boy.
You go, guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I accidentally deleted it earlier, so I had to do it all over again.
No, we're still black screen.
Yeah, no, it should be sorted now in 2 seconds.
Okay, there we are.
Sorry about that, guys. I accidentally deleted the save earlier, so I had to do all my keybinds again. There we go. Oh, who is the first one that's coming out? That is Ty Clear in the Ferrari. Who is going to grab pole in these wet conditions? It's going to be a close one. There's a kick Sauber with Shrek Totalis, who's going to be out to set a lap. Oh no, is that going to give us an idea of what it's going to be like for these laps? Because he was close to going through the runoff there in a second. W sponsor boards. Oh yes, you'll come up to the OTLR cruises. I have not got rid of it since the last time we raced that OTLR, and I should have done my research before. But who won last season Division 2 Monza? Was it Nobody Cares? Or was it the KFC? No, the KFC bloke did it, but he had an unfortunate moment where he crashed out and wasn't able to finish. But I think it was him, that one. We'll see if we can get it back-to-back today. People that have also been on a good run are the two Ferraris. Both of them in recent races have finished up there in good points. And I think Ferrari has jumped up the order by quite a bit. Hopefully they can do the same today. This track is definitely all about strategy. And the Ferraris, at least in this league, know what they're doing when it comes to their strategy. So we'll see.
That was sarcastic. Are you on about just Ferraris in general? Or?
Yeah, Ferraris in general. yeah. But
best track on the grid.
Yeah. We're about to go on to Shrek Totalis' first lap, and as it is raining and Sid is on the grid, we might have to cut to him soon to see what times he can set. Everyone's been practicing for the drive. No one ever thinks it's going to rain in these races, but today is something different. Of course, it's only qualifying, anything can happen in the race. But so far, he hasn't gone to the runoff yet. It's looking like a pretty decent turn one for Shrek Totalis. Hopefully, he can keep it on track and facing it forwards. If your car is facing the other way, that means your lap is pretty much over and done with, and you would have to go again. And I've actually sorted out my camera settings, guys, so now we get a lovely POV from the onboards, and it is really hard to see that turn there. He manages to keep it clean. What is going to be the benchmark for the first inter-running? So far, a pretty clean lap from the Kick Sauber. Will it be direct conditions? By the way this rain is pouring, I'm not sure, but we'll see.
No, I think we might.
There. You think it's going to be dry?
I think no. The fact that they got out straight away, and everyone's pretty much got out. No one's sort of sat waiting. Well, there's a couple in, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be dry at all.
Yeah. As it comes towards the last turn, definitely not going to be foot to the floor halfway through the corner. Goes wide. It doesn't use the track as much as it can. Crosses the line. It's going to be a 1:31.6. And that is going to be the benchmark. What can Ty Clear do in the Ferrari? Had a bit of a slower sector 2 than Trek Totalis, but crosses the line, and it's a P2, almost a second and a bit slower. Kiki in the V-Carb goes even quicker than the cars before. He takes provisional pole, the Aston Martin starting his lap. What about Lewis? The man sat behind Nobody Cares in the championship. He's going to have to respond. Takes provisional pole with a 21.9, so the track is definitely there for some pace. How about Istanbul? Can he get ahead of his teammate? Yes, he can. Gets a 1:30.3, so a good first lap from the two Red Bulls as his teammates takes pole back. They got on board with Sid. Sid starting his lap, so who is it that's going to be setting the time? Is it one of the Alpines? Got on board with Ash. Ash is invalidated, so he'll be looking to go again. His teammate sat right behind him. What can Wolfring do? Almost out of battery, coming towards the last straight, using as much as he can. Can he try and get ahead of any? No, he goes right towards the back, almost matching Trek Totalis there. And who is next? Is that Sid? No, it's Nobody Cares. Can he take pole from the two Red Bulls? Crosses the line and does by a big margin, a 29.3. There's a Williams driver just behind of Apex Predator. He goes P10. And then who is it? I think it's Sid. Can Sid try and match his teammate? He has invalidated throughout his lap, so he won't be able to set a valid lap. Do you think people are going to go for multiple runs? Or do we think it's going to be pretty slow?
Yeah, I think for the first run you may as well.
The KFC bloke is also invalidated as well, so the drivers you would think would be sort of near the front pack of the ones that are starting to make some mistakes. So who do you think grabbing pole in these conditions?
I think it's going to be a tough one with it being the way it is. I mean, nobody's already showing some pace, but that could be down to a bit of track evolution as well as they're flicking the water off of the line. So, no, I'm not sure with this one.
Pipe Tech jumps up to P11, is getting pretty close from P8 down to P12. What can Ty Clear do? Was improving in Sector 1, 1.3 up in Sector 2. So already the track is definitely ramping up. So maybe towards the end of this session, we might see potentially quicker times. I don't think it's going to get dry. 11 minutes and it's still pouring down. We do see the dry line start to form up on the left-hand side. As he comes towards the final turn. How much will he be improving by? Will this be the new provisional pole? Crosses the line. I think it's going to be pretty close. Crosses the line. It's going to be a 30.3. Sits behind his teammate by a few hundredths of a second. Griffin's improving by 7/10 on his second hard into run. Sat right behind his teammate. Might be able to get a good toe. Sid jumped up to P2. We missed that. He's slower than his teammate by 10 milliseconds. What can Griffin do as he's about to cross the line? Can he jump ahead of the two Aston Martins? Yes, he can with a 28.6. His teammate doesn't improve, but I think he's on another run over the cars behind that we are able to go on to. Alberta Tetris on a lap, hasn't set a time yet. 1 minute 1 for Sector 2. Has got his teammate ahead for a potential toe. Crosses the line. It's going to be a 1:31.7. Goes P13. Getting really close between some of the teammates here. Mira, who has also been doing pretty well in recent races, had a really good Sector 2, matching the guys at the front. Let's see where he will be once he crosses the line. Definitely has got the pace to be into the top 5 as seen before, but as there's a few wiggles coming out of that final turn, I don't think he'll be able to. We'll see. Goes P2, exactly 1/10 slower than Griffin. So the track is definitely getting drier. Track is definitely getting drier. We'll see. Is Yeet Mix on a lap?
RS is at the minute. It's just coming through Lesmo 2.
You can see how dry the track is getting. Lewis takes provisional pole ahead of his teammate. So really close between the front 4. Times to definitely be getting quicker. RS Salguero on a fairly decent lap should be able to get into the top 10. It keeps up the pace. You see that dry line starting to form. It's starting to get into the direct conditions. 8 minutes left. If this was you in this situation, would you go for multiple runs or would you come into the pit after every run?
I think for my first run out, I would have done multiple laps, but then obviously nearer the end, I would have wanted to have less fuel on board. So probably would do the 1 or maybe fuel for 2.
The KFC bloke grabs the fastest sector 1. Let's see if he can keep it up throughout the next 2 sectors without invalidating his lap as he's hit his first time round. So far looking like a pretty good lap from him. Has got a Red Bull ahead of him. Maybe if the Red Bull slowed down, they can use some teamwork and try and get him a tow. 57, so the track is definitely getting drier. Fastest sector 2 so far as well. As long as he keeps it within the white lines, he should be on for provisional pole. What can the KFC bloke do as he crosses the line? It's going to be a 1:27.7. Good lap from him. He's got his teammate of Kiki behind, who was on a lap, improving by 9/10 in sector 2. Not as close to his teammate, but definitely going to jump up by quite a few positions. Crosses the line for a 29.3, puts him P8, just behind Sid and Nobody Cares. Andreas in the McLaren. Everyone's improving, so this is where the times will start to get faster, and it's going to be a battle for who's the last one out of the pit and going to set a lap.
Yeah, the rain looks like it's slowed down as well. I'm not seeing as many raindrops, or it could just be the camera.
Somebody Cares crosses start finish again. 28.2, not as quick as the KFC bloke. He'll have to probably go out again and try and improve on his lap. Mira takes provisional pole that we just about missed. Ty Clear, is he on a lap? I think he was down in sector 2. Yes, he is. He won't be setting any times as he comes into the pits. And who can he go on to? Is it one of the Red Bulls? I think Lewis. Yeah, he's 7/10 up on his time. That will get him ahead of Nobody Cares, which is crucial for his championship fight. Who do we think is going to make the right call here out of the guys in the top 5? I think one of them is definitely going to get pole, but it's going to, as Lewis actually goes even quicker than everybody else, 1:27.2. And this is
I think it's going to be who times it right with the way that how quickly the track's evolving now.
That Pabtec just started his lap. It's one of the Alpines, I believe. Nope, they're both on their laps. That the Haas, nope. RS Salguero, we've gone on board with him. I think he's on a flying lap, or maybe not. He's already in the 1:32s. 5 minutes left on the board. I imagine most drivers will be going into the pits soon. JB still yet to come out and try and set a lap. Probably waiting for the right moment when it's dry or dry enough. Four attempts up on his time Ashes. Gonna have to find some more time if he wants to jump up even more positions. As I believe that was just Sid who crossed the line. Not as quick as Lewis with a 27.5. It's currently a Red Bull 1-2 as Griffin crosses the line to get a 26.7. Can his teammate respond? Is his teammate on a quick lap? I don't think he is. He'll probably be going into the pit looking to go again for his final run. Pipe Tech, is he on a lap? He's got his teammate ahead of him. I don't think so with how slow his time currently is. It's not representative of what we know he can do. However, his teammate just ahead is definitely on a lap. Currently sits last, 10th behind Trek Totalis. Can he improve as he crosses the line? It's going to be a 28.4, goes P7 for now. So nobody cares. He's also on another lap, 6/10 up. So his lap before must have made a massive mistake that cost him, got him that 28.2. I imagine he's going to snap back now and try and respond. But is he going to have time to go back into the pit and go again? Is that second run going to cost him his provisional pole? We'll see. Definitely needs to go and do some, put his foot on the floor if he wants to try and get back in the pits and go again. Ash uses the runoff as he might have made a mistake. RS Salguero has unfortunately as... Oh, what happened to... oh, that's not good. So nobody cares. It's disconnected and therefore has left the session as it was outside of the pits. He's going to need an invite back. And that'll be his chances for pole potentially gone. Unless he can drum back in time.
Now he's got his invite, so hopefully. There he is.
5.5 seconds is the gap from P1 to P19. It's common with these in these sorts of conditions. Ty Clear improving by only a 10th in sector 1, so must have made a mistake somewhere, unless he's still on the same set of tyres. His teammate's about to cross the start-finish line to improve his time. Can he get ahead of his teammate? 3/10 is the gap. He jumps up to P2. That is a good lap from him. It's a 26.4, 3/10 behind Lewis. So now this is when the drivers really want to time their runs perfectly. The track is at its peak condition as Trek Totalis has retired on a 1:31.6, so he will potentially be starting last unless JB doesn't come out of the pits. Ty Clear is improving. Can he try and jump ahead of his teammate? The only question is have they timed this right, or was there another opportunity to go quicker with the track drying up? Clear crosses the line. It's going to be a 28.2, improves by 1.1 seconds, but isn't good enough for the top 10. He will have to stay back for now. Griffin starts his lap. Is that Lewis on a lap? No, it's not. I believe it's Andreas. He is 1 second up in sector 1. Let's see what he can do. Currently sits P17 with quite a big margin to the car ahead. He's going to have to be looking to improve if he wants to try and jump up into the top 10, at least by a few seconds. Does have some traffic ahead that does look to be getting out the way. 1 minute left on the clock. How much will Andreas be improving? By 1.7. Good improvements for the McLaren driver. Can he try and match his teammates? Still got a whole sector to go. All the time is in the final corner as the track starts to dry up. He can start to be more brave on the throttle and try and gain some more lap time. We'll have a look as he comes towards it now. So far, like a really consistent lap from him. Crosses the line. It's going to be a 1:27.7. P8 for him. Gets into the top 10, but for how much longer? Sid is about to start his lap. What about Istanbulin? Is he improving? Yes, he is, but I think that's Ty Clear. Ty Clear is 1 second up, so he went for another run, which will probably be his final run. Improves up to P5 with a 26.9. You've got Griffin sat right behind. He is not improving, so that is probably his lap done, unless he's gone for another second out lap, which looks most likely. What about Mira? Mira is on lap. I don't think he was close enough to the Red Bull to get a tow. So we have another retirement. What can Mira do? Mira grabs pole with a 25.9, gets ahead of Lewis. So Lewis won't be starting on provisional pole. Next across the line is the Mercedes, both Mercedes to be in fact. What can Pipe Tech do? Ty Clear retires in P6. Can Pipe Tech jump up even more positions? Yes, he can. He goes to P10. What about his teammate? Can his teammate get ahead? He's not improving. I don't think he can. And no, he stays where he is for now. What about Istanbulin? He goes ahead of Lewis with a 26 flat. Good lap from him. Kiki is improving on his lap, but he has some drivers ahead of him. So we go on board with them. I believe that is Andreas. Or is he slowing down for either Sid? Yeah, he was slowing down for Sid, so his lap is done. Sid currently P8. He's definitely got the pace to improve. What can he do in the final corner? Can he try and take that provisional pole off Miro? Crosses the line, and it is only P5 for him. Now, it's really down to Nobody Cares. Has a really good toe from the McLaren driver. If the McLaren comes into the pit. So he's only P4, and that is behind the Red Bull, so that is not good for him. What about Griffin? Griffin, the second Red Bull, can he try and get ahead of his teammate and displace the more Aston Martins? Currently leading the Drivers' Championship, and it's a Red Bull second row, so that is really good from them. The Red Bulls, the Aston Martins split by the V-Carb driver, and I believe that is everyone's lap done and dusted. So that is Mira, who takes his first pole of the season, and the Ferrari of Istanbul with an amazing qualifying. I think his best qualifying of the season yet. His teammate down in P9, so he would definitely be in a good position to get some points for Ferrari. So the people we were expecting to get provisional pole was probably not it, but Mira, showing his consistency, has sort of grabbed it in the rain. Now if it rains in the race, that would definitely stir some things up, and he could potentially be on for the win. The top the top 9 split by just a second, so it got really close there towards the end. The Aston Martins just not being able to get the most out of that wet qualifying session. And we will go back to the camera as we are now getting ready for the lobby restart. So let me just tell everyone to retire quickly. Right, as that was, oh my god, the pictures. I hope I got the pictures. Or did you get the pictures? I always forget when
I got them.
Right. Well, that was definitely an interesting turn of events towards the end of that qualifying session. Mira and his first pole of the season has definitely been up there for the fight at the top, but it's never been the quickest in qualifying, so he must have put in the work for that wet weather qualifying session, and it has paid off. Obviously Istanbul with an amazing qualifying as well. Hopefully he can replicate that in the race, as I believe we might be missing a driver towards the start of this race. I think, I'm not sure if he's backing out or not. I just saw a message in the chat.
I think
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah, restricted Talis. I think he said he can't.
He will
can't do
be.
it anymore.
Yeah, he's left.
Yeah.
So when Mirror retire, there you go.
There you go. Right. Actually, how do I sound on stream, guys? Got a new microphone. Don't know how it sounds. Lanky off to the bingo, mate. Yeah. I don't know who's that. Lanky, who is that next to you, actually? I can't really tell. Just looking at my screen, and there's someone next to you watching the race.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Is that Ricky? Oh, no, that's a woman. Never mind. I thought that was Ricky for a second, but Alright. As we should be getting to the lobby reset pretty soon. We're just going to change over some settings and then we will get going. P2 in the standings, 0.001 quicker. What? Yeah, that was a generational bottle from the Aston Martins there, especially since they are sat quite a few points behind Red Bull. So nobody cares. Has got a comfortable margin to Griffin, 132 points versus 98. He's going to have to put in a lot of work. But for Mirror, that is going to give him an extra point for pole. I think you get an extra point for pole. Could be wrong, could be right. But yeah. But a nice strategy. Every one of the top 20 in the driver standings have scored a point. So we don't have any 2024 Bottas of the division. If I'm correct, we should be getting going in the next 3 minutes. And because it's Monza, I think the race will be done before 9:10. Obviously, unless that's raining or there's any safety cars. So we shall see. Oh my, there you go. Maybe I'll turn my light on. I don't know how the camera quality is going to look when I do this, but we'll see. I'll have a look as I'm watching on my phone. Phone that's on 4%. My quality does not look that bad for my camera. I thought it was going to be a terrible camera, but I guess not. Just my eyesight. No longer in the dark. I'm pretty sure this is my first ever time in OTLR where I've done the where I've turned my lights on. But for some reason, how delayed is the stream? It's still off for me. No lighty. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. I even cleaned my bedroom for just this occasion. As actually, let me talk about my new headset. This is the Astro A50Xs, the McLaren edition. Absolutely love them. I was told that I sound like Ricky the first time I went into the VC, and that is not it. Not having that. I am 22 years old. That is a offensive thing to say to me. Right. Let's. I beg you do a crew cut and string. I do need a haircut. My haircut is pretty bad. And I need to sort out this delay. Why is there a massive delay on stream? What have I done? I've somehow caused a delay again, Lanky. I am now like 10 seconds back. Maybe I'll do an OTLR IRL stream where I go to the barbershop. The winner of this race gets to decide my haircut. That was a joke. But could you imagine?
Yeah. Right.
Could you imagine?
That's the grid done.
That's the
Beautiful.
grid done. Okay, we should be getting going soon. Let me just tell everyone to ready up. Gonna give them 4 minutes. Right. So, chat. Should we keep the light on or should we turn it off? I'm just gonna sit here for 10 seconds while I wait for chat to finally catch up with what I'm saying. Don't worry, guys. It'll be sorted out for next stream. Light on, light on. Okay, so it's not that delayed. Okay, never mind. Right. People actually readied up in the same minute that I said readied up. What is happening? This is great start to the race. Now for the moment of truth. Is it going to rain? What do you think? Fingers crossed?
Yeah. We just had a wet quali.
So what's the
So-
chances of it raining again?
See how they go with the race. Oh, look at that.
Right. Ah, damn it. It's dry. Okay. But it doesn't matter. If the driver just get their setups ready, we should be going in 3 minutes. As for there, we'll look at the OTLR sponsor boards that were there from last season. Which I would definitely have to try and remove for Thursday. Actually, no, why would I? No, because it's not that track. Never mind. Forgot it's only one track, isn't it? Actually, I think it's two. It's Monza. Probably, don't know what other track there is. I know I had a few of them. All right, predictions for this race, Lanky, go.
What, a winner? Um,
Top three. Who do you think is going to be the top three?
sorry, Lewis, Snowbody, say Griffin.
Griffin, all right. Ricky thinks Lewis, Mirror, and Griffin. That would be a good result for the Red Bull and also Mirror as well if that was to happen. Do we think there's going to be a safety car?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the strategy for this race is medium to hards, but last time it was around here in Division 2, most of the drivers went for a two-stop. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens again this time round at Monza. As I don't have any lights out lines ready, so I'm just gonna, yeah. Either
I'll let you know when I hear
either
the beep.
10 of that tie clear does a one stop. But last time he said he was going to do a one stop, he did a two stop, so who knows? Do you think more than 50% of the grid will go for one stops?
Yeah. It's definitely, I think, the faster way. Unless
Unless there's
obviously a safety car or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, we should be getting going in 1 minute. I didn't expect them to ready up so quickly, so I gave them 4 minutes. I think next time I'll do it at 33.
Ooh, bless me.
Another thing we seem to see in Division 2 as a lot is always that fight for that last point position. We see it quite often with drivers in fighting for the top 10, trying to overtake. I'm pretty sure last time out we had a last lap overtake for the final points position, and that was a really good fight. So maybe we will see that again, or not last time out, I think it was Hungary that happened. But we'll see. As all the drivers should be getting ready and going onto the grid now. So we are about to go lights out.
I hear the beat.
Right. I don't know how you heard that. I didn't hear it. That's super sense. But yeah, As we are almost 5 lights to go for the start of this race. Mira sits on provisional pole. Can he get the start on that Ferrari as they go lights out and the race has begun? Some cars ghosted for the first few bits of the lap. Already a yellow flag, but it's looking like Lewis is going to have an amazing launch. Jumps up to P2, going free ride into turn 1. Istanbulin gets the lead for now as the Red Bull and the McLaren come side by side, have wheel hooked and has cost them time dearly. Istanbulin now leads this race into turn 1. The KFC bloke jumped up to P4. Mira and Lewis dropped down 2 positions. Sid and Nobody Cares hasn't really gained much on their rivals ahead. We got some fights towards the back. Ash has fell back. There has been a spin for the Alpine driver.
Ash, yeah.
And I think he is managing to keep on going as the track turns green. But that is an amazing start for Griffin and Istanbulin. I'm sure there will be some angry words between the two drivers in 4th and 5th. But that is an amazing start from the Ferrari. Hopefully he can keep his lead into the next upcoming laps. These two are going to have to try and get a bit of a gap to the cars behind, or it's going to be a big DRS train. And if you're at the front of that train, it's going to be pretty difficult to defend depending on how close they are. Griffin is staying within those 2 tenths of Istanbul, and obviously setup is it's not gonna be much different between wings, but we always have that one extra driver that does do a few clicks extra on the front wing for that better rotation. As actually Griffin is about to make a move now. They go wheel to wheel. We'll go on board with the KFC bloke to get a view from afar, but it looks like Griffin's gonna get ahead, but doesn't have that advantage of using that line. And Istanbulin tries to give as much space as he can. Looks like he had that better traction. Is actually going to stay ahead for now. As actually still side by side, but it's going to be really close coming up to the first chicane. Or the second chicane, sorry. But it looks like Griffin is going to be taking that lead. Followed by the KFC Bullet, who's in P2 momentarily. But it's fell back to Istanbulin by just a slight amount. DRS is now activated. So we'll see if the KFC Bullet can try and get ahead of Istanbulin, getting really close between the front 5. Ash doing well to catch back up as well. 1.9 was the gap. Was a bit more earlier than that. As actually Griffin has almost gained a whole second from the car behind. So maybe Istanbulin is just not in the right mindset after that little spin coming into that first few sections of the lap. As Lewis and Griffin already have a penalty. That is not going to be good for them, especially with how uncommon I think penalties are around here. But in my opinion anyway, I don't think we'll get that many people with penalties. Tyre clear in P8. Can he try and chase down Nobody Cares? It's going to be a big DRS train for the first few laps. So far with 3 laps in, and the grid is still pretty close. Mira and Lewis still fighting, but it's looking like it's going to be a bit of a train just for now. Don't want to use up too much tyres. The Ferrari and the Red Bull already with an amazing start. There's not much they have to do when they're already leading. From previous races as well, we usually see the 2 Red Bulls undercut most of the drivers as well. So when they pit, I would like to see when that is, if they will go for the undercut or try and extend their run, or at least Lewis extend that run. With that penalty, it's really going to cost him dearly. That one first lap mistake. I don't know if that's where they got the penalties. I assume so, since both of the drivers have got it. Istanbulin on Griffin. Istanbulin gets ahead, coming up to the back straight now.
Nice helicopter shot. I love the helicopter through that section.
The first to 8th is in a DRS train. It's a Ferrari sandwich right here. That's a good move from Istanbulin to reclaim this lead of the race. So far, his best position of the season so far. Is going to be a swap as they come towards the main straight DRS.
Ferrari might lose to KFC here as well.
Yeah, the KFC bloke is going to go for a dive. Doesn't seem to go for it. Istanbulin doing well to stay P2 for now. That overtake from Red Bull, I think he allowed him to overtake, as he knew he wouldn't be able to fight him much with how close he was. Sid gets ahead of Mira and is now P5, chasing down Lewis. Nobody Cares, and Mira are fighting as well. They go side by side. As they
Who was that? Sorry.
Sorry, there's nobody cares in the mirror. As there's a yellow flag, that is Alberto Tetris in the wall. Has major front wing damage on my voice, sorry.
Yes, nobody just picked up damage from going into the back of Sid on his right side of his wing.
Oh yeah, he's missing both his front end plates, so he would definitely have to pit. That is going to be crucial for his race. The two Aston Martins colliding. As the gap is already starting to form, as you can tell from that damage. Luckily, Thoughts, nobody cares. He's right next to the pit, so I imagine he'll be coming in this lap to go and change his wing as he does. Griffin has now got that second gap from the car behind and is now almost out of the DRS of Istanbulin, who's being chased down by the KFC bloke. We got this nobody cares into the pits after colliding with his teammate. Hopefully he can bounce back from what has been a pretty messy first 5 laps. Hadn't had the best of time in qualifying and hasn't had the best of times in the race so far. The Red Bull just building his gap even more now, 1.3 seconds. The KFC bloke is going to have to try and get past Istanbul as quick as he can if he wants to stay and fight for that P1 position.
Yeah, but Griffin's just keep edging away at the minute. So these two behind don't work. They want to sort it out pretty quickly. Otherwise, they're going to start losing a lot of time to him, and they don't want to do that really.
1.6 is the gap, but I think the KFC bloke is actually close enough to try and make a move with DRS here. So we'll go on board with him for the main straight and see what he can do. Can he try and get the move to stick? He is gaining so much time. Istanbulin moves to the right. He knows he's not going to be able to defend it as much as he wants. The KFC bloke takes that lead. Can Lewis make that dive onto the Ferrari? Attempts it. Almost works. Can he get the switch back? I think he does. The side by side. But the Ferrari just has that better traction and stays P3 for now as they're coming up side by side to that second chicane. Who is going to get that better braking zone, or who's going to brake later? Be more brave. I think it might be Istanbulin as he's still ahead. As actually, no, they went side by side coming into the chicane, but just exiting. I think Istanbulin had that traction and got ahead as Sid was able to utilize that to his advantage as well, and now jumps up to P4. Great start for Sid, and is now chasing down Istanbulin, who's once again fallen out of the DRS of the V-Carb. Can Sid try and make any more moves for that podium? When is he going to do it? This is, I think we said last season, this is one of the tracks where race IQ really starts to show for some of these drivers. When will they make the overtake? Will it be here or will it be on the main straight? We always need to figure out when to do it and when's the right place, because if he was to do it now, he'd be overtaking just on the straight, as I think he might be close enough to try and overtake Istanbulin. 4 to 5 attempts. Actually, it might not be enough. We'll see. Can he gain any time? Istanbulin doesn't have DRS and Sid is gaining. So yes, 5 attempts is big. It's good enough to overtake if the car ahead doesn't have it. And he gets up to P3. Can Lewis try and get any moves done? No, he can't. As actually, Istanbulin is doing well to try and maintain his position. Backed off right just at the right moment and didn't allow Lewis to try and get past. But all this fighting has cost those drivers quite a bit of time. As 2 seconds to the car from P1 to P2 and 2 seconds from P2 to P3. Will Lewis try and make a move on Istanbulin? Does he have any damage? He seems to be falling back quite a bit, as there's a yellow flag of Alberto Tetris coming towards the main straight. I don't know what happened there, but it looks like he's going to be able to keep on going. Istanbulin is 2 attempts behind Sid. Had a bit of a slower Ascari. I think he might get overtaken here by Lewis, or is Lewis going to wait for that DRS? He's come side by side for that last turn. Is he going to try and make a move here? Yes, he does. Makes a move around the inside and could still potentially have DRS from Sid ahead. Can he stay ahead? of Istanbulin, still side by side. Istanbulin just edges ahead and gets in front of the Red Bull driver to defend his position, both with DRS. Miro slowly behind. Are they going to go free ride coming to turn 1? No, he doesn't. Stays exactly where he is for now, but this is a close fight for P4.
Yeah, good defending from Istanbul in this. He's making that Ferrari as wide as he can at the minute.
As Ty Clear is actually in the pits, so he is definitely on for that 2 stop. I don't think he'll be able to go 19 laps on those hards. So we'll see how that works out for him. Istanbulin still P4. Although he's doing well to defend, he needs to try and gain some more time. He seems to be falling back from the cars ahead, and it's going to cost him dearly on the DRS straights. I don't know if any moves have been made now, but as soon as he gets to that main straight, that's where he's going to lose out. He needs to find at least a 10th and a bit if he wants to be safe from the cars behind. If not, it is going to be a pretty tough time for him as he gets his first 3-second penalty of the day.
That could be costly come the end. Because after 8 laps, you know, the pack is still pretty close. All the way down to P13.
Imagine his tyres will be pretty cooked as well. Because 8 laps in, I think the pit window is lap 9 to lap 11. So we'll see. We'll probably see some potential undercuts as well. If I was the likes of Istan and Lewis, I'd probably pit now as JB tries to make a move on Lewis and gets ahead along the inside. That is an amazing move from him. We didn't get to see it quite so much due to the standings in the way, but he is up to P5 and is now chasing down Istanbulin. That is a great move from the Williams driver, who now sits P5 and is chasing down the Ferrari driver. Some moves between the backs, nobody cares. Climbing positions after that damage with his teammate Apex Predator. Spins, tried to make a move on the McLaren, but it cost him dearly and is now facing backwards along the track, gets a spin around and keeps on going. Will there be any virtual safety cars? I don't believe so. And he keeps on going. He might, I think he's got some damage there. That's going to cost him quite a bit of time, but try to make a move into Lesbo 1 and then come spinning around into that middle part of it, and it's going to cost him dearly. JB is now still chasing down Istanbulin. Istanbulin doing well to catch up just a bit now within that DRS. Apex Predator with the 3-second penalty, most likely to happen with that wing damage. No surprise if he comes into the pits to repair that. We've got Mira overtaking Lewis is in the pit, so Lewis going for an undercut on the drivers ahead. He's going to have a really good outlap if he wants to try and make this undercut work. If it does...
You were saying that about the Red Bulls as well, earlier on.
And actually, speaking of like pitting as well, Ricky owes us 10 quid because Ty Clear is definitely on the 2-stop. He pitted 2 laps before everyone else, so...
You watch though, Ty's one of those, he'll probably still pull a 1-stop out. Or give it a good go anyway.
Istanbul needs to find at least 2 attempts if he wants to try and make any moves on the main straight. Sid currently sat on that podium position after what was a pretty stinky qualifying for the 2 Aston Martins. He is at least going to pick up some points for his team. I don't know how Nobody Cares will do towards the end of these next 17 laps. He's definitely going to have to do some overtaking if he wants to try and gain any more points, or at least defend his position in the standings between Griffin and Lewis. So we should go on board with Ash chasing down Andreas. Can he try and make any move? Griffin and the KFC bloke are in the pit. Does Sid follow through? So the top 6 all into the pits. That was probably a chain reaction, and actually most drivers are into the pits as Ash is about to make a move on Andreas coming up to turn 1. They're going side by side. Who's going to have that better traction coming out of the corner? Both on hard tyres. Ash just cuts that curb a bit too much. Probably had a little bit of airtime. Has now lost out to Andreas, who now sits in P1 for this moment. It's actually... Was it Lewis that pitted, or was it Griffin from before?
Lewis pitted.
So Lewis's undercut didn't work as well as he wanted to then. He currently sits behind Sid. The gap is still the same. The KFC bloke was able to get closer to Griffin on this occasion though. However, has got a bit of traffic ahead of him. Needs to get past that Aston Martin driver. TyreClear actually sits in at a provisional P3. His undercut was able to get him ahead of Sid. You know, what lap did he pit? He pitted lap 8. I think it's going to be pretty tough for TyreClear, but I think it is possible.
Yeah. He's going to have to, especially through the Lesmos, like take that section easy because it's that front, well, the whole left side that takes the battering around it with it being a clockwise, high-speed clockwise track.
Actually, let's go on board with the Williams. I didn't realise, but this is the new livery for the Williams as Andreas and Ash finally come into the pits. Kiki though, he's opting to stay out on those medium tyres. He's going to be pretty close to a puncture, especially since the cars that pitted behind have now caught up so much and are currently now to only 2.3 behind. However, this is going to help out the likes of the KFC bloke if Kiki does try and defend Ash on the hard tyres. I don't know how long he'll be able to go on to. Probably till lap 19 if I'm correct or remember from the last time I was around here. But it's either going to work out really well for him or it's going to be devastating. If there's a safety car, it's not going to work out the way he plans, but he can only keep his fingers crossed and hope. Griffin 3 attempts back, isn't trying to look to make any moves this time round. Had a great exit coming out of Ascari. What can he do for that final turn? I think Griffin is running a bit of a high wings unless he's just charging to get that attack on the driver ahead. But look at that exit, making a move around the outside before the straight even started. Does he even get DRS? I don't think he does, but that was a great move from Griffin.
I think Lewis is going on Sid here. He is. Down
side by side, has so much speed compared to Sid. Gets ahead and stays ahead for that first turn. JB just behind, having a bit of contact with the Aston Martin as he tries to slow down. But that was a good move from Lewis, getting up to P6 and is now chasing down TyreClear, who sits almost 4 seconds behind.
Williams had a good run out there. I think he's now side by side with Sid. Sid's having to defend it.
Oh, as they wheel hooked, and JB has a bit of a wiggle coming into this turn. Is actually being chased down by Mira. Still side by side through Lesmos, and Sid's position for now drops back twice after braking just a bit late and coming into back of Sid. And actually, speaking of Sid, is that going to be his podium chances out the window? 3 seconds for Sid.
Yeah, I was saying these penalties, with how close they're all staying at the minute, they're gonna be costly come the end.
Istanbulin sits P11 after picking up. What happened to Istanbulin actually? Did he get any damage? He seems to fell back quite a bit as he loses out positions to Wolfreen, who makes a good move around the inside for that final turn. But was it the right place to make a move, as he's not going to have DRS and Istanbulin is going to be able to just sweep right past him? Or maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have enough battery. He doesn't go for any moves and stays P10 for now. So Wolfram doing well to defend his position. Almost halfway through the race as Alberta Tetris comes into the pits and the tyres.
That's in the pit. I hate when it does that. Like, they're in the pit, you don't, like, why are you putting the yellow on track?
I think the grid is still pretty close. Obviously, it starts to spread out a bit based on people's strategies, but if you cut it into sections, it is pretty close between these drivers.
We've got 1, 2, 3, like 3 decent little trains going, haven't we, there?
The KFC bloke is actually almost in the DRS of Griffin. I don't think he's going to get it this time round, but maybe in the next lap or so. Did pit at the same time as Griffin, I believe. I don't know what happened to Lewis and his undercut. Maybe just made a mistake dropping the clutch coming out of the pits, but he sits only a provisional P4, I believe.
McLaren all over the back of him. This could be 3 wide here.
Still going side by side. Bumps on the grass just a bit. It's going to get boxed in, I think. Is he going to have that bit of traction coming out of the corner? No, he doesn't. I thought Lewis was going to lose the position there. He seemed to be going over the curb just a bit. But Mira still fighting as much as he can. So actually JB gets the head of Mira. Yeah, these guys have been fighting for the past few laps actually. Yeah. JB made that mistake a few laps before, but has seemed to learn from that and get past Mira. And now he's chasing down Lewis. Griffin is looking pretty comfortable for this race with that first lap overtake and is still leading the race over with the KFC bloke 7 tenths back. There could be some mixing between the front two sooner or later.
KFC bloke's done well to get up there, to be fair. Like, to get back up within attacking distance of Griffin, because Griffin did get a little gap away.
I think the gap when he went into the pits was 3 seconds, and they both went into the pits together, so something must have happened on his outlap that allowed him to catch up. Obviously, the KOC bloke had Nobody Cares to tow him along and gain that time. If that was it, we'd never know. But if
that is it, he's gained an awful lot from it.
Yeah. As Nobody Cares is in the pits for his final stops. Pitted on lap 4, so we saw this coming. He's going to have to put in a lot of work if he wants to try and gain any more points. He's not that far back from the actual pack ahead. The gap to the leader from Nobody Cares is 25 seconds. So he's only a pit window away, which if there was a safety car, that would cost him a lot, I think. So he's going to have to do some work if he wants to catch up towards the back of those drivers. But actually, Istanbulin's got a 13-second penalty, so I don't know what happened there, but that's going to cost him even more. Had a really good qualifying position, but obviously qualifying's one thing, and he's starting to fall back a bit in the race. Hopefully he can try and find that time and still get a point. Ty Clear sits in P3, and he's got a comfortable margin, currently in no man's land, so 10 laps to go. I think he can do this. There's another yellow flag. Who was that for? Was that for the Williams driver? I'm not sure. I think maybe just went a bit off track. So Lewis also really needs
no damage on anyone.
Lewis also really needs to make some moves on Sid, because Sid is currently sat P4, no TRS ahead, and Lewis still hasn't made a move yet, so he needs to try and get something done if he wants to try and catch up to those front three. Actually, speaking about that, I think maybe Ty Clear made a bit of a mistake. Sid seemed to be gaining some sort of time. Obviously, Ty Clear did pit 2 laps earlier than everyone else. But
3 lap older over Sid.
But obviously, with Lewis and Sid with a penalty, Ty Clear could lose those positions, but just stay with them, and that would still be a podium. Unless, obviously, JB gets ahead.
I think we're going to see KFC make a move. He's just pushed up really close to Griffin coming down to the Parabolica. But I'm not sure if he's trying to set himself up.
5 tenths is the margin. We should be able to get it done here. We'll see. So go on board with him. He's gaining time, but I don't think it's going to be enough coming into that first turn. No, he stays behind for now.
I think Griffin is managing that battery well. He's got to be. I
mean, as we see coming into the exit of
turn 1. 2 long straights, but as he goes here, though.
Yeah, that was a good move from the KFC bloke along the inside. Steals the comfortable amount of that battery. Yeah, see, neither was I, to be honest. I think that caught Griffin a bit off guard and allowed the KFC bloke to get ahead. Let's see if he can try and gain any time now. With the KFC bloke being behind Griffin in that DRS, he's probably been able to save his tyres a bit more than Griffin. So we might see a gap start to fill.
Yeah, probably
start to
kept a
build.
bit of the battery as well, where Griffin's having to burn it to defend past couple of laps. Yeah, look how much he's pulling already.
Eight tenths is already the gap, so that gap is already big
Yeah,
enough
there were
for him to
5
be
tenths
safe.
coming out of Ascari, so 3 tenths just down that straight.
So maybe Griffin just cooked his tyres a bit too much, but saying that, the 4 tenths was just gained coming out of that final sector for Griffin, but I don't think the gap is close enough for him to try and make any moves. JB gets ahead of Lewis, as actually Lewis comes into the pits for potentially a 2 slot, definitely a 2 slot. But
He's only done 9 on them hards, that's surprising. Has he got damage?
Might do. No, he's
No,
just
he's not having a
into
wing
the
done, no.
hards,
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
My phone's died.
Considering there's, what, 8 laps, I'm surprised. He's probably done harder allocation, hasn't he? So it would have been nice to have another set of mediums at this point.
If he is unable to catch up, that will be good for Nobody Cares, as he is only 2.4 seconds away from getting into that top 10. Obviously, you got Griffin up in P2, but obviously Sid is still high up in that point scoring position. However, with a 3-second penalty,
Yeah.
most likely
He's
will drop down.
chipping time off slowly.
1.4 is the gap. With 8 laps left, it's going to be pretty tough on Ty Clear. I think what we need is JB to try and attack
Ty just
Sid as
needs
much
to
as
stay
we
with
can.
him.
Yeah.
Let him go if he's going to go, and just stay with him. He's going to get the position off the penalty anyway, so
But obviously,
don't waste
JB
time
as well.
fighting.
JB is going to be attacking Ty Clear because he will definitely want that podium position.
Yeah.
Obviously, 7 laps left. Anything can happen. Anyone can get a penalty up to this point. There's actually got Mirror also in the pits, potentially pitting a bit late, so that will allow some drivers who would be usually fighting for a point to get some points. Pipe Tech up to P10. He's had a few good runs recently in the Mercedes, I believe. His teammate unfortunately not being able to finish this race. There's actually both McLarens double stacked.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's going to cost them, but we'll see. Griffin now 4 tenths behind the KFC bloke.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to have a look down here into Ascari.
It's actually, Nobody Cares with a 3-second penalty. So maybe I was wrong. Penalties are starting to build.
He does have a look.
There's a little fake coming into that corner.
Yeah, he's tried to put KFC off, make him go deep into the break. You know, maybe trying to force him to break a little bit later.
I think Griffin is definitely going to make a move here. I think he's got the battery to do so. 2 tenths coming out of that corner there. So if he has a great exit, he's going to be flying by in a matter of seconds. It's going to be up to the KFC bloke to try and defend this position really well. We'll go on board and just see the speed he has compared to the V-Carb, and he takes the lead of this race for now, and the KFC bloke falls back to P2 with 6 laps remaining. Ty Clear is also into the pits. That allows Wolfreen up to P5, so Nobody Cares up to P6 again after pitting. So Ty Clear obviously not that comfortable trying to go to the end. He is he's losing time. I think he might have been able to do it, but might have lost at least 1 position to Sid. But obviously with that 3-second penalty won't do much. But that allows JB to get up to P3. So Nobody Cares. If he can finish in the position he currently is in, that would be a good comeback from him after colliding with his teammate. Wolfrin up in P6 as well. Be a good finish for the reserve driver. Obviously won't get any points for the team, but should get some points for himself in the standings.
That gap, Griffin has opened up a gap to KFC now. That's huge at this point in the race. If he can keep gaining now, he's out of DRS.
Do you think the KFC bloke just maybe cooked his battery a bit too much trying to defend from Griffin? Because
possibly
that margin is already up to almost 2 seconds to what it was previous lap.
Yeah, they both stopped at the same time, so they're equal on tyres. Well, equal with tyre age anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's probably cooked them while obviously keeping with Griffin, and or let's say it's down on battery. Griffin's recharged behind him for a couple of laps, and now he's put it to use and broke a gap.
Tire clear on those fresh tyres, sat in P11. I imagine he'll be able to get some moves done on Lewis in a few laps' time. We go on board with Andreas. He just about falls out of DRS from Ash. Can he try and catch up in time to make a move? No, he can't. Stays P15 for now. Yeetmeeks in P8. 4 attempts behind Pipe Tech. These guys have been pretty close. Well, him, Walker, and Pipe Tech have been pretty close to the majority of this race.
Yeah, I'm not going to say how much battery, but both of them have enough battery, so yeah. It's quite surprising how he's opened up the gap so quickly.
Yeah, 2 seconds is the gap. Maybe Griffin was just saving his tyres and now just decides it's the time to push, because unless something's happened to KFC bloke, I don't know what would cost that time loss.
Yeah.
His tyre clear is now almost under 4 attempts behind Lewis. And with no DRS for Lewis from the car ahead, imagine tyre clear would be able to breeze by. We go on board to see how much speed he can gain and try and get past. But with his battery, it seems to be running out. I don't think he's going to be able to make any moves. Lewis tries to make a move for the inside just to defend in case he goes for that move. But tyre clear wasn't able to catch up in time and stays P11 for now. Still within the points after penalties, but he would like to get that done on track as most drivers would. Sid has also fell back quite a bit to JB. Those two were fighting, if you remember, with Mirror. But Sid falling back just a tiny bit now. 2 seconds is the gap. 4 seconds is the gap between him and his teammate. Obviously both on penalties, so he will have to do some catching up to try and claim P4.
Yeah, Yeetmex is getting pretty close to Pipe Tech now as well. A couple of little battles coming into play now in these closing laps.
That's actually the fight for the final point position is going to be on, because Mirror is quite a bit back from Lewis and Apex. So tie clear is definitely on in the points, but it's going to be a good fight between the Williams and the Red Bull driver for who's going to get those final point really. Is Lewis going to make a move on the Williams? Tries to, has the inside line, but don't think he has the traction to make it stick and stays P10 for now. That allow a tyre clear to get within a DRS, and with those fresh tyres, it is going to be pretty hard with this DRS train, but he could have the traction in some of these corners to try and make a move. Lewis is usually a front runner, so we know he has the pace to overtake these cars ahead.
He's on 14 lap old hard, so.
What, Lewis?
Yeah. Oh no, not Lewis. Sorry, that's Apex. Lewis is on 5.
Oh yeah, so it's going to be pretty difficult. We do have a DRS train from 7th to 11th, so it's actually, I think Griffin's about to make a move now. The side by side, Williams goes off track. Do they collide? They had a bit of a moment. No, they keep going as he's on the wall. But he keeps it going. I don't think he picked up major damage, major front wing damage.
Big
and that is going to cost him.
Yeah,
that is going to cost him so much.
Oh, someone else just gone off. Who's that? Haas.
That is RS Alguera, I think. V-Carb. That is Kiki. Nope. Was it the Kiki?
No. Somebody's just gone round the wall of Parabolica.
Oh, it's Apex. He's in the pits.
He didn't look like a Williams. Yeah.
No,
who's just gone round the wall of Parabolica? Who's got damage?
Is Tan Bullen?
RS is all the way back there. Might have been a V-Carb. No. Somebody's just gone off of Parabolica, and it's baffling me now because they hit the wall and I can't see no damage. Yeah.
If nobody cares, gets ahead of Sid.
Unless it was Apex. No, because I have no idea. I definitely saw a car go off though. I'm going to clip that and I'm going to look back at that.
4 laps remaining. Well, 3 laps remaining. No, 2 laps remaining. I can't do math. JB with a 3-second penalty, so it's going to be a... No, I don't think he's close enough. So JB will be staying P3. So nobody cares. 5 seconds behind. I don't think he's going to be able to do enough to catch up in these final lap or so.
And we've got Lewis just got through on Yeaton Parabolica in the Scari. Obviously, he's got that penalty, but
The tie clear pit again. He seemed to fell back quite a bit to the cars that he was originally with. 2.2 seconds is the gap now.
Ty
Could it have been tie
has
clear that
damage
went
on his right
So
side.
it was tie clear that
heavy
went in.
damage.
Yeah. So I guess that car
On
you
that
saw
right
was
side.
tie clear then, I guess. That's unfortunate
Maybe.
for him. Mira making some moves, takes for the runoff. That is going to be another 10-second penalty for Mira. And that is definitely going to be dropping him out of the point. So tie clear just might be able to get an extra point. The KFC bloke seems to be catching the car ahead. Only has a lap and a half to try and get within that DRS and overtake. That's going to be tough, but can he get it done? There's another yellow flag. That is Mira. I believe Mira is in the wall.
Yeah, he's dropped it.
However, we passed the threshold, so there won't be any safety cars. But with that 16-second penalty, I think that was him out of the race anyway, I believe. 13-second penalty.
I was on board with Ty, and Ty was just behind him, I think. I just heard a loud bang. Yeah, so the tyre's starting to give up for a couple of people. I mean, Mira's on 6 mediums though, so maybe he's just cooked them.
And it's looking very much likely that it's going to be our top 3 as it is. Griffin, the KFC bloke, and JB. He gets his debut podium of the season.
I'm thinking, yeah, KFC's probably left it a bit late for it. He's definitely gaining time, but he might have left it a bit too late.
He's
to
within
attack.
the DRS. There could be a potential chance he makes a move, depending on how much
It's
battery
going to be
he's
down
got.
battery down to Parabolica, isn't it? Yeah. Is a gain, obviously, with the DRS here.
It's another yellow flag. I think that's Mirror into the pits to retire. But it is looking like it's going to be a P1 for Griffin. Don't know if the KFC bloke is going to be able to make any moves. When does the DRS start? No, it starts after the line.
Yeah,
so no
it's
DRS.
all on battery now.
Yeah, it's all down to the battery and the exit of this corner. But by the looks of things, it is going to go to Griffin, who's going to take the lead. Well, not the lead, the win of this race. It claims P1 and defends really well from the KFC bloke. 4 attempts is the gap between the two drivers. 6 seconds behind is JB for his first podium of the race. So nobody cares. Up to P4, gets a really good comeback in this race after having that damage with his teammate. Sid falling back quite a bit. Wolfrin P6 to get some good points for Alpine. Lewis just had that moment at the start of the race with Mira, which pretty much cost him his race. Pipe Tech gets P7 as something happened to Lewis and he somehow retired, is now falling back down the grid. I think he might have left just before crossing the line and that's what cost him. So I think it might be reinstated, I'm not sure, but P10 for Andreas, Kiki P11, Ash P12 and Istanbulin after really good qualifying. The top 2 in qualifying, 1 DNF and 1 P13 after what was probably a really devastating race as Istan picked up that damage and Mira with that lap 1 contact, and that is going to be devastating for him after what was a really good wet qualifying session. It's turned into a nightmare for the race. But that is it for Monza this time round.
That was pretty decent, that
yeah,
race.
we had quite a good few overtakes here.
Yeah,
Griffin
some nice little battles going on.
Yeah, Griffin leading most of the race with that overtake into lap 1. Overtaking those almost 2 cars. The KFC bloke as well with that lap 1 was able to take advantage of that and claim that P2. Obviously, it's a great race from the drivers and I'll be excited to see what they can do next week. Driver of the day goes to JB from P18 to P3. He didn't even set a time in qualifying. So that is actually a really good comeback from him.
So last to third for him.
Yeah. Griffin goes from P4 to P1. The KFC bloke P6 to P2. So those two had a
Okay.
really good good race. It's alongside Yeet Mix. Yeet Mix claimed 9 positions that race. And the only driver to stay exactly where they qualified was Ty Clear and Andreas. So talk about consistency. But yeah, that is it for this race. We'll be back for Zandvoort on the 14th of April, same time as every week. We will see you then. It'll be joined by, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if it'll be me or it'll be someone else, but we shall see for that race. My voice is going, so I don't think I'm going to be doing any
I was just gonna say you
any
sounded a bit
interviews
different.
today. Yeah, my voice is going, so I don't think we'll do any interviews today. But that was a great race. I think Ricky was able to get some good clips. Every time I looked at the chat, all I saw is exclamation mark clip. So if you see yourself on TikTok, so like it and repost it. And we will see you guys tomorrow for next week for Division 2 and tomorrow for Division 1. It's been a good
Yep,
race.
I'll be there.
And we